Now you can pack it in, you can call it quits, you can keep your head down, you can cry all you want, or you can come back tomorrow, have a new day, refocus, mentally get there, and get back to the grind. Inside. Let's go!
Hey Spartan Nation, welcome back inside episode 3 of Grind to Shine, a season with Alexander football. I'm Patrick Klinger alongside Nathan Wiseman. And Nathan, the tone of practice this week was just much different than it was back in week 2.
Yeah, it feels a lot different, and that's because the Spartans got their first loss of the season last week. So before we look forward to this Friday's matchup, let's hit the rewind button and look back at the Chesapeake game.
The Spartans coming into this game fresh off a victory last week, but not the way you want to start off the game at home. Third play from scrimmage, Ethan House swings it out to A.J. Marks, but he mishandles the ball and it's a fumble. And later on, Chesapeake would capitalize on that turnover with a 2-yard touchdown run by Ty Wilcoxon, 6-0 Chesapeake early on.
And not much luck for the Spartans on their second possession. A.J. Marks' pass is picked off as Wes Malavinda takes it deep into Spartan territory, and from there, Will Scott will take this one in, 13-0 Chesapeake.
Alexander just desperate to get on the scoreboard after a long drive. A.J. Marks bounces it to the outside for the 14-yard score, 13-7 Panthers. And Nathan, this defense made some big plays at times. See Ethan House busting into the backfield for a tackle for loss, but they just couldn't keep that kind of production as early on in the second quarter, senior Casey McComas is just going to take it right in for the Chesapeake touchdown.
Yeah, but his luck would run out later in the first half as Kimbrough tips the pass and A.J. Marks comes up with the interceptions, but the Spartan still trail 27-7 at halftime. Coach Saunders trying to make some adjustments, but they couldn't stop Cecil Fletcher from making this big play from the first play of scrimmage in the second half, going 56 yards as Chesapeake goes up 34-7.
And as a young team, you don't want to see the Spartans quit, but they did not. A.J. Marks taking it in for the touchdown and actually get the onside kick, getting some momentum going in this third quarter, 34-13, and on that next drive, A.J. Marks looking to find his man Chase Harris with the really nice juggling catch on that one, but again, silly mistakes would halt the drive.
Yeah, acrobatic catch by Chase there, but A.J. again another mistake, a fumble, and Austin Browning will take this one 84 yards to the house as Chesapeake rolls on to win 47-16. Coach, I heard you talking to the team after the loss against Chesapeake the other night, and you said that during practice, the focus needs to change. And the day before the big game, you guys had to restart practice because of a lack of focus. And, you're always hammering those little things. Do you think that kind of laid over into the Friday night game?
I think a little bit it did. Thankfully, Friday, when we had our walkthrough before the game, it just seemed like we had things buttoned up, and mentally we were focused, and that's what we have to be. But to win on Friday night, it doesn't just happen on Fridays, and that's what we're trying to get these young men to understand is the way that we prepare, the way that we practice relates to how we play on Friday. And I think we had some hiccups there Tuesday and especially on Thursday, and it was a little bit too late to regroup and get focused, and I think the end result showed on Friday night.
Speaking of those little things, not the ideal start to a game. An early fumble by A.J. setting up Chesapeake for an easy early touchdown. They go up 13-0. What was your message to the team to kind of try to rally the troops at that point?
And we talked about on Monday, just our first day talking about Chesapeake, is we're going to face adversity, and how we handle that adversity is what we can control. And I think that we did a great job not putting our heads down, not tucking into the sand, but we kept on fighting and believing in each other. And I think with the end result as a loss, I think we had a lot of positive factors, and it showed that our young men are learning, and especially they believe in each other. So that's a great thing.
And they had some speedy guys, McComas and Fletcher. What made their offense so hard to control defensively?
And when you have that much speed in a lot of various positions, I mean, you can't just say you're going to shut down the run because now they're going to throw over top of you, or shut down the throw and they're going to run on you. So they have a very dynamic offense, and I think that wing T offense really just plays to their factors very well. And their line has improved since the first time we saw them on Friday night, and I think it's going to be one of those tougher teams that we see all year, thankfully.
I think one positive note for your team is you guys were able to drive down the field and run the ball pretty well, but it was just those crucial mistakes, the turnovers, really the story of the game. Do you think the defense was showing AJ something maybe he wasn't expecting, or maybe just those mental mistakes or costly passes?
It was just that mental focus, and when you get down, now you're going to try to play a little bit harder, and that's the tough thing, is to let that game come to you. And I think we got a little bit out of our rhythm. We never showed that confidence. But when you watch film, you can show that we were able to run the ball, and we had some success throwing the ball. It's just eliminating those mistakes and letting the game come to you and not try to do too much.
Kind of switching gears here, you had a guy play his first varsity game the other night, Stone Markins, a sophomore, a younger guy, but man, he kind of has the build of like a senior. So what can fans expect out of him, and how do you think he can fit in to your offensive scheme?
He's one of those young men that we've been trying to get, and he came to some weight rooms there after basketball season last year, and had a little bit in him that he wanted to play, then really didn't come until really right before the season started. And so a lot of catch up, but he showed that he can play, and a big nice little catch there on Friday night. And we got two other kids that are sophomore and freshmen that we hope to be able to play for us eventually this coming season.
And after the game, when you guys were in the team huddle, I heard AJ gather the guys and say, "You're never going to see a guy work as hard as I'm going to the rest of the season." He challenged his team, and you told the team that they had a couple hours to think about it, and when it comes 7:30 on Saturday morning, you're on to week 3. So what is the mindset of this team now that you've had that Saturday practice and week 3 is coming?
Just believe in the process, believe in each other. Game plan, we have to be able to focus. We've got to be able to clean some things up, and it shows that we have to be able to take care of the football, and we can still win some football games. And as many negatives as there was on Friday night, there were a lot of positives, and our offensive line is tremendously getting better week in and week out, and that's a really positive sign. Now it's just trying to get some little things buttoned up and get everybody together, because all it takes is one person not to do their job, and mistakes will happen. But if all 11 are doing it, then we're going to be a very special football team.
Coach, looking forward to week 3 at Sciotoville East. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nathan.
There's nothing quite like family, right? Just imagine you have to wake up, go to class, and come home with that same sibling every single day, and not to mention seeing each other at football practice. Well, that's the case for senior AJ Marks and sophomore Ryan Marks. And this week, we were out at the Marks residence to find out how those two personalities clash at home. All right, Spartan fans, it's time. We got AJ and Ryan Marks here, and we're going to ask you guys the burning questions. So, Ryan, the first one is for you. We're going to go back to that Federal Hawking game, week 1. You got in at the end of the game, and 4 carries, 24 yards, and a touchdown. And if my math is right, your 6 yards per carry is actually higher than AJ's yards per carry so far this season. But what was it like at the end of the game to get in there and get in the end zone for your first varsity touchdown?
It was a great feeling. I came out, and out of nowhere, I score the touchdown. I get up, I hand the ball to the ref. I'm starting to run off, and he comes up out of nowhere because he's on field goal. He jumps up and smacks me in the back, and he says, "Good job." And I about fall over because I'm not ready for this. And so I come off the field, and my coach looks at me. He's like, "When did you become an athlete?" And so I just told him this is what practice is for.
The next question is for you, AJ. After the loss last week in Chesapeake, we heard you say after the game that you won't find a guy that's going to work harder than I will, and that you are going to be the guy from here on out. So what are you going to do differently from now on so that kind of result doesn't happen again?
I'm going to work on making sure all the little things are right. From every point here on out, I got to make sure that I'm going as hard as I can for every snap, and I've tried to do that so far this season. But a lot of the little stuff, after a play, kind of walking back, unstrapping the helmet, taking it off, doing a couple lazy things here and there, I got to completely quit doing that. Having the guys and having them look up to me, or at least the way some of them do, I've definitely got to pick up the game, and I've got to be better. Back in 2 days, I remember all the way back then, every once in a while, both of you would refer to yourself as the better Marks. So now is the time to settle this debate right now. I want to know from each of you, I don't care which one goes first, which of you is the better Marks, and give me one reason why.
I am a walking highlight reel. I have more yards per carry, and
you just learned that.
More touchdowns in my sophomore year than you did.
Sophomore year, yes, because I was broke. I think I'm the better Marks because I've played on the Stellar team. I've got all district honors, and I had even an honorable state mention. But
you have more years under your belt. That's not fair.
All right, so last thing I got for you guys, a little bit more on a serious note. You know, a lot of people don't get the experience to play a sport in high school with their siblings. So, I mean, you know, what does that mean to you guys to be able to play on the same football team?
You know, it's pretty cool to have that feeling of your little brother out there. Kind of, I mean, it's different. And you don't have that bond with any other person. Granted, he makes a mistake, I got to hear about it. If he does something good, I have to hear about it because he's the better Marks. There's no winning for me in this situation, but it's definitely a fun aspect to have him out there and just have a little bit of a different feel to it.
I'm still waiting on that Marks to Marks touchdown pass. Once Coach puts me in, runs me on a go route, we golden.
All right, guys. Well, I've been watching you guys practice all season long so far, and I'm ready to learn a thing or two from you guys. So, what do you say we get out there and you guys teach me something?
You ready for this?
I think I'm ready.
The first thing you got to do when you're doing this, open up and picture a clock underneath you. You want to hit about 7 o'clock. You want to get deep. Once you get so far, you want to get your shoulders pointed back down towards the line of scrimmage and attack it. Just doing this. You're going to step back. I'm going to be coming at you. And drop it right. All right. 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
I think I'm moving up the depth chart.
I think you are.
Already.
Getting a lot better.
I told Coach Penrod's going to see the film of this. This is the first year you really played quarterback.
Any
like this
kind of pocket
consistently. So
quarterback, yeah.
Right. So how was this one? Was this kind of hard to learn when you really started getting into it?
You know, doing it in the drills and stuff, it's kind of easy. But once you get live and there's 5 guys running around you instead of just 1 guy with a pad, that's when it gets difficult. Because I've never really been, even when I played quarterback before, it's never pocket. It's just get out. Follow the ball. Wherever it goes, your eyes go.
Okay.
You catch with your eyes.
Eyes to the tuck, baby.
To the tuck.
Eyes to the tuck.
You catch with your eyes. Wherever it goes, you go. But if you're slot like that, you'll have your outside.
Oh, I'm a
foot
slot
up.
guy all the way. I got that speed.
Put 1 step, which is just in,
Okay.
shove and rip. My favorite, the 2-step. This is probably by far my favorite.
Okay.
Which it works all the time. Take a step in. When they fight in, you break.
AJ's pressing me.
Yeah.
All right.
Shoot my hands.
I'm just gonna smack you across the face. I need you to tell the camera that Des Bryant caught that ball back.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Hey, Des
You know
Bryant.
he caught it, dude.
You know,
Des
I've been
Bryant,
screwed by the refs before. You remember the replacement refs?
I get the rule that the rules in place that he didn't quite get the catch, but you can still admit that was a catch.
He caught
That
it,
was
then
a
he
good play.
dropped it.
He
That was a
caught
good
it,
play.
then he dropped
But he didn't carry through.
He caught it and set it down in the end zone. You guys are taught me the ins and outs, all right, of some quarterback play here. So we got a little competition with this here drill here, and we're gonna see who can come out on top. Who's gonna do it?
Me or you? I don't believe in AJ at all. Wow.
What do you think?
He's lucky, but I don't think he's got me.
You think you got it then?
Yeah. I believe in you.
My money's on AJ.
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about. As a freshman at Gay Academy in 2009, Caleb Campbell soaked in every bit of football knowledge from his new coach, Alex Penrod. 7 years later, the two share a brotherhood on the Spartan sidelines.
When I was a freshman, he pulled us in one by one and asked us individually what our goals were for the season, games and stuff like that. But we also talked about a lot of individual growth goals, and that was kind of the first time that me and him kind of had a heart-to-heart.
And he was definitely one of those that stood out, I mean, just from a character standpoint, and then later on as it went, really as a true leader and a captain of a football team.
We just gotta go into this game, not even think about what's going to happen next week, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what's going to happen. We just gotta go in and play and win tomorrow before any of that happens.
As a captain, Campbell took it upon himself to learn every aspect of the game in order to become a better player and leader.
When I was a senior, I tried to learn the game in and out, not just my position. So skill positions and defensive back positions and all of the positions of the game. And he was definitely kind of the ringleader as far as helping me learn those the different aspects of the game.
And that's why he was one of those special guys, because you could get on him, you can get on him hard, and he understood that he's doing it for the best of him, and I think that's why he's grown into the young man and young person that he is today.
As assistant coaches, Scott Saunders and Alex Penrod helped lead Campbell and the Blue Devils to an SUAL championship in 2012. 2 years later, Campbell turned in his blue and white in exchange for a red and white clipboard, reuniting with his former coaches.
He sent me a message. He said, you better have your hat and whistle ready. He said, I took the head job at Alexander. He said, I'm going to ask you to be one of my assistants. And I was just ecstatic. It was just playing under him and watching how he coached us as young men, and knowing that I could help him take the step and be that same leader to other student athletes was great.
He's willing to do little things. He's committed to our process. He has great organizational skills, and really he's just a great guy for our guys to be around, not only as a staff but for our kids.
Campbell's coaching career is young, but his life and football wisdom is beyond his years, thanks to one of his biggest role models.
Especially when I was a younger, just 18-year-old kid in high school, he was telling me that I had all kinds of this potential to be a leader and to just to be a leader in life, more than football, and that's just what it's all about with him. It's more than X's and O's. It's more than football. It's about life, and it's about growing these kids into respectable young men. It's not just go to school and come to practice and talk football and leave. It's more than that with him.
Favorite class?
Math.
The player on the team that's most like you?
Hacker.
Funniest person on the team?
Chase.
Favorite sport outside of football?
Basketball.
Favorite musical group or artist?
R. Kelly.
Wake up early or sleep in?
Wake up early.
Who did you see at your first concert?
Philip Phillips.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you? Any hidden talents?
I don't really have any. I'm just basic.
What's your pre-game ritual?
Listen to music.
Favorite TV show?
SpongeBob.
Favorite movie?
To Benchwarmers.
Favorite guy on the coaching staff?
Coach Russell.
One food you can't live without?
Pizza.
What's something that Coach Talbert is always screaming at you?
Eyes to tuck.
And what's your favorite thing about being a Spartan?
That's a hard one too. I don't know, man.
Friday nights?
Oh yeah, of course, Friday nights.
All right, Spartan fans, it's time to start breaking down that Week 3 matchup where your Alexander Spartans will be taking on Sciotoville East. And Nathan, as this is the first road test for the Spartans this season and their last tune-up before TVC Ohio play, they'd really like to get a win this week after a disappointing result in Week 2.
Yeah, this game's going to be crucial for the morale of this team, and this Sciotoville East team is no walk in the park. They had 2 dominant wins the last 2 weeks against Fisher Catholic and South Gallia, so they're not a team to be messed around with right now. They're actually number 6 in Division 7, so this is going to be an interesting matchup for the Spartans.
That certainly doesn't get any easier than Chesapeake last week. The Spartans are going to have to bring their A game if they want to stay in it. And Nathan, now looking at these 3 keys to an Alexander victory, first and foremost, all over the scouting report this week, and the coaches are all talking about it, the Spartans really need to be able to stop the run this week, at something they really struggled with.
Yeah, last week they couldn't contain Chesapeake's quarterback Casey McComas or their running back Cecil Fletcher at all. They had so many big gains, and the line, like you said, is going to need to step up this week. Coach Saunders told us before last week's Chesapeake game that it was going to come down to how the guards played, and they really didn't live up to that potential. So I think the guards and the line really need to step up this week.
And Nathan, Coach Penrod has been preaching consistency with that defense all week long. They play great for most downs on the field, but then there's just those couple plays where they let them break loose, and you just can't have that in these non-conference games. And now the next thing they really need to address this week from last week is turnovers.
Yeah, this is the first game that we've seen all season long where AJ Marks, the new quarterback this season, even though he's a senior, he made some crucial mistakes. A lot of poor passes and sloppiness with the ball that resulted in a lot of turnovers and big yards for Chesapeake. So like you said, they're really going to need to eliminate those turnovers if they want to win on Friday night.
Yeah, and those 4 turnovers they had last week resulted in a lot of points for the Panthers. So that's something that they're definitely going to want to fix for this week. And then finally, Nathan, all over that scouting report, The biggest word on the front page was resurgence. You know, the word of the week for the Spartans as they go through practice. You know, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Coach Yake, I heard him say that they need to get back to Spartan football. And after the game, he told the team that after last year's Chesapeake loss, they came out and they didn't lose another game in the regular season. So they were fired up. And I like to think that they're going to be fired up like they were last year and bring that on Friday night. So resurgence, they need to get back to what they're doing, playing hard-nosed football, hitting them right in the mouth, what Alexander's all about.
And Nathan, the coaching staff all week long has been just preaching, you just got to want it more than your opponent. And simply speaking, that's just what it's going to come down to this week. So it should be an interesting matchup on the road. And that's enough talk from us. And you know what time it is now. It's time for that Week 3 hype video for the Alexander Spartans taking on Sciotoville East.
All right, Spartan fans, well, that about wraps it up for episode 3 of Grind to Shine. So be sure to stay tuned on social media all throughout the week for coverage of your Alexander Spartans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and especially YouTube for our show every week.
That's right, and we're proud of every single one of our 62 subscribers. So until next time, I'm Patrick Klinger, he's Nathan Wiseman, and we'll see you on the road tomorrow.